WWE are planning more viral teasers after the success of White Rabbit so far. People backstage in AEW reportedly pushed to sign a WWE star, and we've got Roman Reigns' Survivor Series status. Stay tuned for all the deets. So kicking things off with some not so surprising news given how obsessed everybody's been with it since it started, but WWE are planning to do more viral marketing teasers following the success of White Rabbit so far. Now this comes from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and they said that White Rabbit merchandise was a hot seller over the past week. As a marketing ploy, it's been very effective. There was talk that Paul Levesque would be doing more things like this going forward. What we've learned is that the idea of delivering surprise arrivals of big names does help ratings for both WWE and AEW. However, it only works for arrivals with very big names. They've been big names who often got big entrance pops, but have not made a difference in ratings. Obviously, people like Sting, Punk, and Wyatt made a big difference at first. And this is sort of it, you know, We've kind of been too spoiled for shock reveals now. Yeah. So I think there comes a point where it was like, oh, there's no shock reveal this week. Well, I am tuning out. And then it's sort of, you get, you know, just a lot of reveals to the point where it's sort of, it's not like reflecting on the talent who are being revealed at all. Because, you know, it's just that big debut moment. But it kind of, with each passing surprise debut, a little bit of the sheen comes off that as a trope, right?
Yeah, totally agree. Because especially looking at AEW, and I know people have been more critical of AEW recently, but they did a lot of surprise debuts, just like one after another, and it did kind of make you go, all right, well, who's going to be the surprise this week? And then it does sort of, it becomes just a part of the show rather than like an actual surprise.
Whereas I think with this, you know, as wrestling fans, all we do about nearly everything is speculate. So if they can give you something to speculate on that is a mystery to solve that's going to lead to, you know, the reveal of somebody, what if you're the first person to find out? That's kind of,
right.
You know, that's the goal.
That's kind of cool, yeah.
So I can imagine them doing more ARG stuff, like specifically for kind of characters like Bray.
I think there's a lot of characters that it could work with. But
definitely.
It just feels...
There's many different types of ARG you could go for, but I think with this type, definitely, you know, your kind of spookier guys, it's got to be done very sparingly, though.
Yeah, too many of these, you will get a little bit bored of them, but it just feels so much more fresh compared to the usual sort of promo packages we get for people like this. Feels like it's part of the show, but also shouldn't be part of the show. Like we're trying to, as you say, figure something out that something's wrong and we're not meant to see.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously all these little things that they're placing are very intentional and it's very deliberate, but actually finding them out and go and watch the previous video we did today where we discussed all the latest from last night's, but like all those little intricate details.
Yeah, there are people out there with this, or literally with a Pepe Sylvia board, sat there Charlie in their Day, rooms, you know, with you know, string going for it. It's a genius way to market stuff. It just creates buzz, it creates excitement, and you know, when they eventually reveal that this has all been for WWE's all new White Rabbit energy drink, then we can feel a bit betrayed.
See if it is.
I don't think it's gonna be. So.
I mean, just more of these, please. But even just more sort of out of the box thinking for debuting stars instead of just either they just turn up or they're here next week. Like do something original, do something like this. Keep up with all that.
Well, moving over to the AEW side of the fence, we've got a report of another AEW talent who missed Dynamite due to Hurricane Ian. This one, again, from The Observer, where they said less was advertised ahead of time than usual for the show because Khan was obviously aware of potential problems for several days ahead of time, which we'd seen with him sort of publicly addressing it. The only names that appeared obviously missing were Jake Hager and Swerve Strickland, both of whom were confirmed as two of the people not there due to the hurricane hitting where they live badly and them needing to stay home. Strickland wasn't with Keith Lee in a confrontation with the Acclaimed to build to a tag team title rematch, and Hager wasn't with the Jericho Appreciation Society. In a trivia note, it was Hager who came up with the idea of the JAS coming out in all purple suits in the celebration. There were apparently several others not there, including Samoa Joe, but the plans to start Joe and Wardlow versus Lee and Strickland have had to be put on hold because of it.
So I think what's really interesting, I'm quite surprised at that next feud that had to be put on hold with Joe and Wardlow versus Lee and Strickland. That feels like a very out of the box, out of left field sort of next step, like a matchup. Yeah, like Wardlow is the TNT champion, Joe's the Ring of Honor TV champion. So like they should be separate maybe and be defending their own belts individually rather than just doing a tag team feud.
No, they're only allowed to wrestle, but they have to wear their belts the whole time.
there, I'm sold. You've sold me. But I feel like if maybe this feud going forward, this could be the end of Lee and Strickland. Perhaps maybe have Lee go for the Ring of Honor title, the TV title, and have Strickland go for the TNT.
I was going to say, like, Strickland is somebody who I'm just sort of waiting for that next big thing to come along from. Not that, like, you know, I'm getting bored or tired or anything. It's sort of, you know, you look with every talent, it's like, oh, when they get that kind of next phase and everything changes up, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to do as a you know, a standout singles competitor.
I'm so excited. I would love to, as I said, to see him and Wardlow get in the ring. But
for sure.
Wardlow and Keith Lee. Imagine that as a match.
Just those two absolute hosses lobbing each other around the ring and the arena and the stadium and space.
So nice.
Yes.
But I'm not surprised. Obviously, Hurricane Ian has been quite devastating to Florida and, a lot of the people, a lot of wrestlers not making shows. I know that Dynamite was quite a skeleton crew, and so was Rampage and SmackDown. But hopefully, it's a shame. I'm gutted that Swagger Hager missed out on the purple suits, because I thought that was brilliant.
Well, keeping it with AEW, this one is about the WWE star that people were pushing to sign. This one, again, comes from The Observer, but apparently it was Candace LaRae who returned to the 19th of September Raw in Edmonton. She'd been out of action since August of 2021 when she revealed that she was pregnant. Contract expired in May, and then apparently there were people in AEW who were pushing for her, but obviously when the situation with management and Gargano happened, you know, him going back there, it was sort of a given that it was off the table. So she immediately lined with Bliss and Asuka and Belair, and then you get the impression that she may be in the women's War Game match at Survivor Series against Damage Control and somebody else, because that's sort of the rivalry they were building to.
It looks like that's what they're being built to. I mean, I'm not surprised Candice LeRae was back in WWE, but I'm also really not surprised that AEW were wanting to sign her.
Yeah, around the time we were just sat there like, oh, they'd be perfect for AEW. This has got to be something AEW wants to rip like anybody's hands off for the contracts of those two talents.
They feel like I don't want to say missed opportunity, but it feels like ones that AEW definitely should have jumped on when they were free agents.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they would have wanted to go to AEW or not.
That's it, you know.
But it feels, especially when they had the tease of, it's going to be Johnny Dynamite or Johnny Elite appearing on a show. It felt very much like it was going to be Johnny Gargano at the time. Candice LeRae would have fit perfectly into the women's division in AEW. I think probably helped give it a bit more.
Yeah, I think like a really good boost to that division.
Yeah, for sure. But again, big boost to the main rosters division. Like, what a talent! What a talent!
Well, keeping it with WWE here, this one's a bit of a surprising one. But this is also from The Observer. This is that Drew McIntyre has had quite a bit of momentum in the last couple of weeks as his merch has been #1 in the company. Now, apparently Bloodlines is still the perennial #1. But you know, coming out of everything and coming out with Wyatt and the White Rabbit stuff, that's apparently going to be doing well. But McIntyre,
my boy, my home boy from Scotland, Drew. I'm not surprised he's one of the top merch sellers. Did you see how over he was when he came over here? Obviously, Clash at the Castle happened a few weeks ago, a month ago almost now, actually. So I wouldn't be surprised if that has kind of given him that renewed push and momentum to get your merch over. He's also been one of the top featured guys on SmackDown while Roman's
for quite some time.
Roman's been away, so like Drew's the guy that's
carrying the flag.
Carry on the flag of Karrion Kross. I want a piece of Drew McIntyre merch. I want a full sword. Give me Angela.
Oh, like a full, not an inflatable one, a full Angela. A full with the WWE logo engraved in it.
Yeah.
You know, all of the little fine print, like registered copyright.
Registered copyright,
WWE Inc.
Yeah, you know my style, Sam. That's what I want.
But this one we're about to move to is the last one for this video, but it concerns Roman Reigns, who we just touched upon there, and his next pay-per-view appearance after Crown Jewel. Now, this one, again, from The Observer, but apparently Boston for Survivor Series has a $75 get-in price on a show that's basically sold out at the Garden, the TD Garden. Roman Reigns is at this point scheduled to headline that show. So
not a surprise. It's one of their big five, four.
Historically big four, now big five.
But it's not a surprise that he's going to be headlining the show. It's now War Games.
Yeah.
It's one hell of a show.
He's going up against Logan Paul. We've got all of that to look forward to in Saudi Arabia. And then after that, it's kind of straight back on with it, right? So we need a big performance from Roman, I think, just to kind of reassert that dominance.
Depends what it's going to be, because I feel like it's going to be in the War Games match, the Bloodline versus some faction.
Well, this is it, but some form of betrayal of the Bloodline would be just...
Give Sammy leading a team against the Bloodline.
That'd be phenomenal.
That'd be brilliant. Him, Kevin Owens, Johnny Gargano.
Or Sammy turning on a mid-match.
Yeah. But yeah, War Games, Roman Reigns.
I'm looking forward to
it's gonna be
main
good.
roster War Games, man. This is
It's hype. I'm actually excited in WWE. It's so fun.
Well, that was it for your second dose of weekend wrestling news. We may be back in a little bit with another one if any more news breaks. But for now, stay safe. We'll see you in a bit. Bye.